Good evening, how are we? I hope you're well. It's Sunday night, it's about the 7th of June. It's Bobcast and long sleeve shirt today. Fortunately, not too many complaints about the dressing gown yesterday. One or two raised eyebrows and a few people saying, don't believe you spent the whole day in your dressing gown. Yep, did. Yep, I wouldn't lie about that. So today, anyhow, got up earlier, about 9. That's quite early in lockdown, isn't it? And got dressed. Lots of services on the telly. Overdosed on religion. Well, the telly on Tinternet, really. And I've got this big screen in front of me. It looks like a telly. And some good services. Some good words of wisdom. Interesting when you get to respected priests and loved priests, both preaching sort of the same sermon, really, working down the same themes. So that's really good. And whole thing. It's been a reasonable day. Walked the dogs this afternoon. Had a bit of a Zoom, Zoom meeting this afternoon as well, doing a bit of planning, which was good. Quite enjoyed doing that. And walked the dogs, watched a bit of telly, watched an interesting program about Aldi, and that was interesting. Reminded me of not long after I came to Kelso, and a new supermarket had opened here, and I was talking. I've maybe said this before on Bobcast, and I said to people in the congregation, I said, as you know, I'm not an academic, but I have been doing a study of ancient language. And I found the ancient language of Kelso, Kelsonian it is, or Kelsanian, depending on which side of the river you live on. And it's, there's only fragments of it left. But I managed to find a few words, but one word stuck in my mind, and it was called Liddol. Liddol. And when I got the translation, it translates in Kelso to Waitrose. Waitrose. So, anyhow, what kind of leather? Or what's made of leather? And sounds like a sneeze. Ashu! Ashu! Well, what a pair of silly jokes that is. I'm suffering a little bit, actually, because yesterday I ate a clock. Not 8 o'clock, I ate. As in, so I said to somebody recently, have you got an eating problem? I said, yes, I've only got the one mouth. So yesterday I ate 8 o'clock. It was all very, very time consuming, especially when I came back for seconds. I have to say thank you. These have been sent to me from France. And how do you make a waterbed more bouncy? Well, you fill it with spring water, of course. To be frank, I'll have to change my name from Bob. So, what's today being brought? Well, I think I've been saddened, if I'm honest. I agree every life counts, every life matters. There's no doubt about that. And I hate any form of racism. I hate any form of abuse of any person for their creed, their colour, their sexuality, their ability, anything about them. Hate all that, and I agree that every life matters, every life is equal. I was just saddened to see the number of police officers who've been injured in the, well, they're not really riots, but demonstrations that have taken place, and statues being pulled over or defaced and things. I just think it's, why do we have to match violence with violence? And that does concern me. It does worry me a little bit. So I was saddened to see that. Very, very saddened to see that. But someone stole my antidepressants. Whoever they are, I hope they're happy. And a cowboy asked me if I could help him round up 18 cows. I said, of course, that's 20 cows. Oh, there's a lovely piece of KJ that always makes me laugh about somebody went to the shop and they said, that's £18 and 6p. And they said, do you want the 6p? He said, yes, I do. always makes me giggle that. You know, Peter Kay is one of those people who just has the ability to bring the obvious, doesn't it, and make us see the funny side of life. So, on the funny side, I'm really pleased. 61 people have viewed our service so far this morning, just on my records, and I know there's some more as well. So I hope you all got a lot from it, our Eucharist, and thank you for the nice comments. It really does help. A friend of mine asked me to pass her lip balm recently, and by mistake I gave her super glue. Well, do you know, she's still not talking to me. So yesterday I promised you a poem, and I think I've been promising it for a couple of nights now, and it didn't get there. So I'm going to go with it today because it ties in with the joke. The joke, which I now can't remember, what's made of leather and sneezes? A shoe. Well, this joke, had I got it in order, this joke, no, it's not a joke, this poem is called Sneezels, and it's by A. Milne, who I realise only died in 1956, just died a year before I was born. You didn't realise I was that young, did you? So he's obviously 64 years ago he died. So this is Sneezels by A. Milne, which I've been meaning to read for a couple of nights. Christopher Robin had weasels and sneezels. They bundled him into his bed. They gave him what goes with a cold in the nose, and some more for a cold in his head. They wondered if weasels could turn into measles, if sneezels would turn into mumps. They examined his chest for a rash and the rest of his body for swelling and lumps. They sent for some doctors in sneezels and weasels to tell them what ought to be done. All sorts and conditions of famous physicians came hurrying round at a run. They all made a note of the state of his throat. They asked if he suffered from thirst. They asked if the sneezels came after the weasels, or if the first sneezel came first. They said, if you teasel a sneezel or a weasel, a measle may easily grow. But humour or pleasel the weasel or sneezel, the measle will certainly go. They expanded the reasels for sneezels and weasels, the manner of measles when new. They said if he freezels in draughts and in breezels, then for thiezels may even ensue. Dear. Christopher Robin got up in the morning. The sneezels had vanished away. The look in his eye seemed to say to the sky, now how to amuse them today. I do like a bit of A. Milne, a bit of Pooh Bear. You are loved more than you know, and better than you ever think you are. Some great sayings from Pooh, and good stuff. So, been Sunday today. The weather's been a bit strange, hasn't it? And I've been talking to quite a few people. When I took the dogs out, it was almost impossible to walk at one point because there were so many people I was just meeting out. We were chatting, and it's all rather nice. And people all want to talk at the moment. I don't know whether you're finding that, but people are also telling me stories, and telling me stories of good things, of people who've helped others out. The shock of somebody who's been delivering medicines in Kelso and saying, just a number of people who are by themselves and, really struggling. Other good stories, but some, not so good stories as well. Some of the scams that are going on. Please just take care if someone rings you and says you have to pay £50 because you've been next to somebody who has the coronavirus. It's all absolute nonsense. My son said to me today, can I have a bookmark? I just burst out laughing. He's 37 years old and he still doesn't know I'm called Bob. So, what sound does a witch's car make? Broom, broom. Actually, as a Christian and a priest, I shouldn't be talking about witches, but I thought it was a wizard joke, so I just we'll get on with it. So there's lots of stories. So I was wondering whether you'd got any coronavirus stories. You know, the good, the bad, or the bubbly. So something that I can talk about. I heard a lovely one today of a young boy, a little boy. He's about 5, and he had been up visiting a farm, and he'd been helping. And he talked to the farmer, and he said to the farmer, "Could we go and feed the cows now?" And the farmer said, "No, not at all, not at all. They were fed hours ago." And this little 5-year-old said, "Oh, please, could we go and feed the cows?" He said, "No, no, no." He said, "You've got to be here really, really early in the morning if you want to feed the cows." And the little boy said, "I won't, and that's my mother's fault." From the mouths of babes, and that's a true story. I was just thinking though, are people born with photographic memories, or do they just take time to develop? Oh, what was your favourite TV detective with a photographic memory? Yes, it was Kodak. Gosh, do you remember the strike? Right, that's a different story. I can't go there. I'm way off script. So, I'm feeling great after having a day not doing anything. So I recommend to you have a bit of time not doing anything. I'm praying for you if you're struggling, and if you're finding life a bit hard. I'm praying for those of you who've lost ones that you love, and that's hard as well. And also, I know a lot of people are just coming up to the time when they should be going on holiday, or there should be civic weeks, you know, the common ridings, or shows, you know, Highland shows later on this month, and Kelso show, and all those things which aren't going to happen, and they're feeling bereft about that, and also bereft about church. I'm just going to say now, there's a lot of talk because, you know, talk about churches opening. Remember, at the moment, that's only in England. We're not talking Scotland just yet. So as soon as we can, we will. But let's be patient. So anyhow, my dear friends, it's been lovely to bobcast with you again. And I hope I made you smile. And just remind you that you're really special and how much we love you. You just, you know, just be. That's just be the person God created you to be, and just rejoice in it. Just absolutely rejoice in it. Okay, so watch thou, dear Lord, with those who wake or watch or weep tonight, and give your angels charge over those who sleep. Tend your sick ones, Lord Christ. Rest your weary ones. Bless your dying ones. Soothe your suffering ones, and pity your afflicted ones. All for your love's sake. Amen. And I didn't mean to miss out. Shield your joyous ones, because it's okay to be joyful as well. I'll see you tomorrow. Pray for me tomorrow because I've got a sibling chat. That'll be good with my brother and my sister. But also finance committee tomorrow night. All those things, all sorts of things to keep us busy, which is good. Right, so a shop assistant said, "How about this one?" The psychic customer said, "That shirt is too small." The shop assistant said, "You didn't even try it on." The psychic said, "That's because I'm a medium." Bye.